Good morning. Welcome to another episode where we're going to be discussing the range. We're still on credible perspectives, and this time we're going to be focusing on the range. How far can these EVs go? My name is Branis Mayenga, and I'm really excited because I am joined by a female on the set, which is very exciting. Joy, thank you so much for honoring our invite and for being here. I first maybe just want to start by asking you to introduce yourself. I first started by asking, you're a very young CEO.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to just tell us who's Joy Kalua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. My name is Joy Kalua. I'm CEO of Autopax, maybe one of the youngest CEOs in the mobility space, electric mobility space, inspired by a large group of people behind me who have always inspired me in the green space, Dr. Kalua Green, and much more in the Green Africa group. So I have grown up within that space, ensuring, sustainable livelihoods, ensuring environmental conservation. And here I am applying it to mobility because, as you know, the transport sector takes up to 20% of greenhouse gas emissions. So how can we improve that? And I play a big role in doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about electric mobility, people just think cars, bikes, motorbikes. What is your background? Are you an engineer?
I'm actually not an engineer in training. I'm actually an economist and statistician by training. And the love of mobility got me here after I first tried an electric vehicle in 2022. The first time I was moving around consistently with a Nissan Leaf got me into this space passionately. And now I'm here. Grown in the sector quite a lot and still applying my economist mind in this space and to ensure that we are making a difference in the livelihoods of the people.
Oh, that's really interesting. So at least this comes from a place of you've been in the space.
Yes.
It's not just something that you thought, this would be a passion, I'm interested in this. You've grown up actually with this, around this space of EV.
I wouldn't say grown up within the space of EV, but grown up with people who care about the environment. Yes.
Okay.
And I sort of just applied it. I have very good, interesting people around me who have gotten me into the space. But it came just from the first moment I sat in an electric car and felt the difference of movement and the savings and just the reliability of it and the enjoyment of being in an electric car. And that just got me deeper into it. Yeah. So I'd say.
Okay, so now when we talk about Autopax, who is Autopax and what do you people offer?
Yeah, so Autopax is a mobility solutions provider. When I say that, I mean that we focus on the vehicles themselves, not necessarily the energy. That's the support we play within the supply chain of electric mobility. So we first started with certified pre-owned vehicles, what we call used cars from Japan, but focusing specifically on hybrids. And fuel-efficient vehicles. So this was because we've seen there's a issue of affordability when it comes to electric vehicles. So how can we still bridge that gap for Kenyans to get them into the e-mobility space as we progress and as we grow as an economy? So, for example, one of the units that we have is a Prius plug-in hybrid. That's a vehicle that is very practical to teach you how to use an electric vehicle, the charging part of it, but also there's no limit to where you can go and what you can do, and they still can manage on the affordability aspect. So that's one of the spaces we're in. And then we got into electric mobility, and the space that we decided to focus on is the vehicle. How can we make this product as affordable, as reliable, and as sustainable for the people of Kenya? And when I say affordable, when you look at one of our first projects, AIVA2, we ensured that we hit a very low price point so that it can make sense for most Kenyans. And this is our reality. Our taxes and different aspects make cars very unaffordable. Yeah. So how can we still make it for the wide mass community? So that's affordability is a big part of it, but reliability as well. So we focus on partnerships that can enable us to achieve that. And the partnership for our first project, AIVA2, was Wuling, which is number one in small electric vehicles. And they focus on quality as well, not only just the price point, but they understand that we align on that affordability and sustainability. And when I talk about sustainability, it means the reliability of this car beyond just beyond the car being stable and strong, but how is it making it efficient for this user?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually just touched on what I was going to ask when it comes to price, because your vehicles are 1.7 million, which is quite a game changer. And I like that you've already addressed that you're trying to make it obviously affordable for people so that they can actually get an experience of these electric vehicles before they get to now the high-end vehicles, which again, many people have concerns about price. So, and we know typical Kenyans first look at price and then now need to be schooled or given more, educated more on now the value that you get based on the car. But, even in the corporate world, you're giving someone money and they're asking you as a return on investment. We know Kenyans will ask those same questions, but I like that you've already addressed the price and innovation story. So let's now go to the second area, which is you people are expanding into the motorcycle space. Is there a particular reason why you decided, or are you just futuristic and thinking, what is it that has pushed you to move into the motorcycle space?
Yeah, I mean, it's both a strategic and personal story for me. First of all, boda is the backbone of this community. Today, if boda shut down, our industry would be shut down. Our markets, everything, how we move around, how goods are moved around,
True.
It's quite affected. And according to a study done by Motorcycle Assemblers Association of Kenya, one motorcycle supports 6 livelihoods.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see the impact that one motorcycle creates. And I saw that there's such a big opportunity there. That means with our 2.5 million riders, that's 15 million livelihoods in Kenya. I saw a really big impact there. And when I say personal story, I've also seen it in person with my mother, who has been selling motorcycles for the last 10 years. So what does that look like? I've seen what each motorcycles, and she did it in the rural area. So one motorcycle in that home has managed to pay school fees for some of the students. It has managed to move the teachers around. It has managed to just make that community very productive, and you see the economic benefit of a boda. So that's why I decided to really play a part into that, and got into a very interesting partnership with KOFA. So KOFA is Africa's largest energy provider when it comes to energy infrastructure, swapping infrastructure. They're called Energy on the Go because they make it efficient for riders, no downtime for them, so that they can make them as productive as possible. So that's the reason why I decided to get into the boda sector. There's so much impact in that area, and I love the boda community. I mean, I also ride myself here and there once in a while on the electric bike. So it's a good way to move around. It's a way for goods to be moved around efficiently, and we see the impact that it creates for Kenyans beyond that one person, their families and their sisters, their brothers.
Yeah, wow. I tried riding an e-bike.
Yeah.
And I was a bit clumsy. I mean, I know how to cycle, but I was a bit clumsy. I think it's just the mentality or the mindset. But I think with time, obviously, once you get used to it and you set it on the road, then you just get back to what it is you already knew. Now it's just because it's an EV bicycle. But yeah, maybe at some point we can do a motorbike ride.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Maybe next year. So let's talk about you people have the battery swap, which I mentioned is a game changer, which is the Cheche.
Yeah.
And it uses this brilliant swap and go. Now, when you're talking about swap and go, what is it really that you feel gives some sort of relief to someone? Swap and go, is it just a time thing, or is someone also thinking about, I need to swap it because I'm going a certain distance? Maybe just talk a little bit about why this swap and go, why you came up with that structure.
Yeah. So first of all, I'll go into the name Cheche. Cheche is actually a Swahili word, and our motorcycle has been done for the African continent, designed in Ghana, but there's none like it. I can assure you of that. So Cheche means a spark. A spark, so it connects to the electricity. It connects to the movement of this motorcycle. So our solutions are African solutions tailored for our people. That's the first thing. The swap and go is one, creates a lot of relief for the rider. Remember, these guys are supporting livelihoods, as I said, so they need less downtime. If I was to sell the motorcycle with its batteries, one, I put them at a loss of time, because maybe a battery can take 3 hours to charge. Where do those 3 hours go for that rider?
Yeah, it's a lost time for them.
Yes.
Translates to money.
And then the second thing is to reduce the upfront cost. So the boda sector, of course, is on the lower income side. How can we best give them that affordability so that they can, access these new technology and then, go and be productive?
Sure.
Yeah. So when you look at that, it reduces upfront costs. It makes them more efficient, and also reduces the risk of owning a battery, because owning a battery equals to that battery needing replacement or cell change in the next few years, in the next 5 to 6 years. So we're just reducing that risk for the rider so that they can enjoy that technology without the risks that come with it. But the most important is that we will have swap stations available for these riders. And we've tested even outside in rural communities how this can work. And starting with the eastern area of Kenya, how can it work for the riders so that they're efficient and we can see it in a rural setting. So similarly for the bike, we've done the same thing and ensured that bike can withstand all terrains, all conditions, so that it doesn't limit. As Eliud Kipchoge always says, no human is limited. And that's what we want to do with our bike. It should not be limit anyone within the city.
What I find so fascinating about your mind, Joy, is you're actually outrunning me, because it's almost like now you're touching on the next question that I was going to ask. When we're looking at the driving conditions, real driving conditions, and let's not even look at other countries, let's just come down to Kenya, because we have all sorts of, we have steeps, we have rocky areas, we have good roads, we have traffic in Nairobi. So what is that honest talk that you would have with someone who wants to go on a trip and they're probably not factoring in a lot of the terrain? How would that affect their battery? So what is this that you're telling them with regards to their battery?
Yeah, so the beauty about Kenya is that we have a moderate climate, right? That really helps support the battery health of our batteries, to reduce the draining, to give you more range, and reduces the range anxiety that we have. So in Western countries, there's extreme heat. There's also extreme cold weathers. In Kenya, we are privileged to have the in-between moderate. So that means our batteries will actually last longer within our climate. That's the first thing. The second thing is that driving or riding on an EV is dependent on the driving behaviors of the user. I can't tell you that everyone will get the 200 or get the 300 kilometers or however. It depends on how they utilize the car or the bike. And of course, if you're on a hill, if it's a hilly terrain, it will consume more energy. But the beauty of it is when you go down a hill, it activates what we call regenerative braking, and you can get back that range due to the systems that have been created in an electric vehicle. So it's all about, nobody should change their perspective compared to what they have with a petrol car or a diesel car. It's the way you step on your pedal, that's the way it consumes. Similarly to an electric car, how you consume, and the more practice you have, the better you get at it. I usually get more than what the standard is. So if let's say the Air EV8 is 200 kilometers, I can get 210 easily because of how I drive and how I use the eco versus using the sport. So it depends on your usage, right? Yeah.
Okay, so let me take you again back. I just want to touch on the Air EVA2, which gives a 200-kilometer range. But you also have another one, which I think is a Year 2 Pro.
Yeah.
That is 300 kilometers range. So would someone be, what is it that someone would be thinking if they want to choose of the two in terms of range?
Yeah, so as Autopax, I can say we sell based on as a solution to the usage of the car. I can meet you today and we have a conversation. What is the use of the car? Is it commuting? Are you just commuting to and from work? And a regular Kenyan, a typical Kenyan will commute 40 to 80 kilometers on the higher range.
Okay.
Yeah, so a 200 kilometer AIV Y200 can work perfectly for them. You can find someone who wants to less cycles of charging. They want higher, because the Y300 has more features or specifications. Yeah. So Y300 can have LED lights, electronic handbrake. Those are just luxury features. So if that's what you're looking for, also it's available for you. So there's that solution. So it really depends. You might just need a plug-in hybrid car.
Yeah.
And that's an electric vehicle that is still consuming less, emitting less greenhouse gas emissions. So we sell based on on a solution that works for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone would have a question. I live in apartments and you're telling me I plug and charge. Talk to us a little bit about this plugging and charging of this vehicle. Where am I doing it? How is it being done? Just so that we demystify a lot of misconceptions that people have about charging stations, charging vehicles, AC, DC and stuff.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about charging of this vehicle.
Yeah. So I would say it is in our best interest to incentivize apartment blocks, office buildings, airports, malls, all these areas to have a charging station to enable for the e-mobility industry to grow. And that means that it allows for them anywhere. We have a lot of downtime, right, with the cars. You go to work, you park it for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity for you to charge your car, right? You're in your apartment block, you're sleeping for 8 hours. That's another opportunity for you to charge your car.
Sure.
But we offering, short-term solutions, such as pulling, a cable down from your apartment block so that it consumes from your meter, right? So that it makes it easier for you to live that lifestyle, even when those when that progress has not been made yet within your apartment block. But we are seeing a lot of improvement. I think right now we have more than 22 charging stations in Kenya. And this is just, the more electric cars we have, the more charging stations will be available, because it's like a chicken and an egg situation.
Yes.
I won't invest more than 1 million Kenya shillings to have a charging station where there are no electric cars.
Sure.
I won't sell a petrol car. I won't put up a gas station where there's no cars. I won't put a petrol station in Lamu when there's no cars, many cars there. So it's the same thing with the electric vehicles. Yeah. So it's incentivizing these companies, building blocks to enable. They see the future of where we're trying to go as a community, as an association, and buy into the bigger picture of why electric mobility matters.
Yeah.
If that is not clear to them, then we won't grow together.
True.
It's a combined effort, and infrastructure is a big part of the growth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now this one, I'm looking at you in the eye and I'm representing a Kenyan.
Yes.
So I look you in the eye and we want to talk about an honest answer when it comes to range, because this is $1 million question. So I look you in the eye and I ask you, Joy, I can see 300 kilometers. Tell me the truth. Will I get 300 kilometers? What would be your answer?
So when we give the 300 kilometer range or 200 kilometer range as a standard, it's a standard test that has been done based on different driving conditions. So it's an average of what you can get.
Okay.
Can you get more? Yes. Can you get less? 100%. Typically, most people on real driving conditions, they'll get, if it's a 200 kilometer car, they'll get around 170 kilometers, just because of different terrains, and maybe they were late to work, so they decided to put it in sport mode, and now they're zooming through Nairobi and all these other areas. So it's a standard. Right?
Okay.
It's a standard. But the beauty of the regenerative braking is that you can actually gain back energy and get more range with your vehicle when you drive it appropriately. Yeah, but it's a question we always get. It's a question we also get of how can I get to Shags? How can I get
Yes.
to all these places? It's a question of infrastructure and the improvement. The beauty is that batteries are improving every single day. Like the technology that is being developed day by day, different versions. We are seeing 700-kilometer range cars. That's the beauty of technology. And there'll be no range anxiety. If you go to China, there's no range anxiety. If you go to somewhere like Netherlands, there's no range anxiety. Not because they're doing more kilometers than us, but because there's infrastructure
Yeah.
in place to support you to have an electric vehicle. The reason why we don't have that anxiety in Kenya is because we have petrol stations.
Yeah.
Right? Everywhere. No matter where you go, you're comfortable. You know that it will be there.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
similarly, that's the same challenge we face in the e-mobility space.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of time. The more they now put up infrastructure, which obviously this is something that I know there's a lot of conversation on that, and there are a lot of people who are investing in that space. With time, I guess that anxiety will go
dwindle,
down. Yeah, it will. So now, when we're talking about maybe the real barriers, what are the real barriers of people adopting EVs? So, for example, you've been in the market for quite some time now. You've driven these vehicles. You've sold these vehicles. What would you say is the one thing, or maybe what are some of the things that are holding people back from purchasing or adopting these the electric vehicles?
Yeah, sure. So barriers. Number one, upfront cost. I think what we've seen as the first mover is the electric motorcycles, which has removed that upfront cost. We're almost matching what is there with the ICE motorcycles. But when it comes to vehicles, there's a big upfront cost. Because you're buying a small car. Let's say, for example, the Air EV2 was meant for the ride-hailing guys who are switching petrol cars into the LPG gases. So that means that their expenses were higher than their earnings. So we wanted to get them a solution. So that person who's buying an Alto for maybe 850,000, you're now requesting them to buy it for 1.7 million or higher, then it becomes a big barrier of conversation to them, although there's a big benefit, right? So upfront cost, and at that time, many banks were not financing the electric vehicles because there was no understanding of the cycle of an electric vehicle. But now banks are on board. Banks like NCBA, Cooperative Bank, they have e-mobility frameworks, they're financing. So it now has reduced that barrier. Now just a matter of who can access that financing. That becomes another question. So that's one of the biggest barriers. I think now there's more sensitization around e-mobility and why an electric car is important, or why you would want to move into an electric car versus a petrol car. I think that's becoming more clear now. That's not the conversation we're fighting. We're fighting a conversation of upfront cost and a conversation of after sales, which we are supporting wholly. As I said in the beginning, we are focusing on the vehicle itself and the after sales of the vehicle. So how can I ensure that the end user is as satisfied as an end user of a petrol car, that they can go anywhere and get their car fixed? We want to ensure that as well. So those are the small things, but I believe we're getting to a point we are solving those problems and a lot of growth.
Okay. And are you getting people asking you questions about the resale value of these vehicles?
Yes. Of course, it comes up quite a lot, especially with banks. I think that was the question they were trying to answer, because if financing requires a resale value cost at the end of it. So there's that question coming up. However, the best thing is that Kenyans are so used to used cars that we even call them new cars. But now that we are actually driving new cars with e-mobility, it's zero mileage cars. That means that the resale value of the cycle that they used to of 3-4 years and switching a vehicle will be much higher than a used car. Yeah.
And considering even service, I mean, you're not using as much, you're not servicing the car as much as you would an ICE.
Exactly.
Vehicle.
And an electric car is so simple. Like the mechanics of it is very, very simple. And that's the beauty of it, that a battery switch is, if it 10 years, 12 years down the line, that electric car can be new, right? I know someone who has changed a Nissan Leaf, 2011 Nissan Leaf, got a range of 600 kilometers now just by changing the battery and the motor.
Wow.
So that's a completely new car that you can still utilize for another 10, 15 years. So there's an electric car does not have the problem of the resale value.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we see some hybrid cars on the road, and then we see electric vehicles.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
So a hybrid car is a type of an electric vehicle. A hybrid car is a mix of petrol and battery. Yeah, it's a balance of both. So it's really great for people who are trying to get their foot into the e-mobility space, but they're still not sure because of maybe their commutes. Maybe they travel once a week, quite a longer distance. So it's a solution. It's a solution to that, to reduce the range anxiety, but it does play a purpose and a role into the electric mobility space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we look at the women electric vehicle buyers,
Yeah.
are you getting people coming into your showroom? Are women coming in? And if they're buying these vehicles, are they asking different questions from what you already know people to ask, or are they a bit more informed and knowledgeable even when they're walking into the showroom to buy these EVs?
Yeah, no, I love interacting with women in the showroom because one of their biggest anxieties is usually around mechanical and savings on the fuel.
Yeah.
So when you talk to women in the showroom, you find that when they realize the simplicity of an electric vehicle, they tend to buy it much faster because the guys still want the sound. Sometimes I tell them I'll put for them a speaker in the back so that they can hear the sound of an engine. Yeah, but the women, they just want to move around in the most affordable way and to make it, and the fact that they don't have to visit a mechanic, which is usually a pain point for them, they love that. So I'm seeing more women really interested in the e-mobility space, in the electric cars, in moving around more sustainably. And when you paint to them the picture of why it's important to the future generations, they even buy it more because you see that women care a lot around, families, the future, how will their children live?
Yes.
If they can improve that, they are willing and able to do that. So we give them the comfort that after sales will be available, and the maintenance is much lower. So they don't need to see us as much. They just need to take care. We give them a quick handbook and they're good to go. Yeah.
Okay, so someone has bought the vehicle and they've gone with it and they're driving it and they're moving around with it. Do you people have any interactions with them, whether it's giving them maybe updates or giving them information, or do they only come to you maybe when they have a service issue? Is there any engagement with buyers of these cars from your end?
Yeah, so right now we're still developing a lot of new products so that we can give the end user the best of what we offer. And we're looking at three things: affordable, reliable, and of course sustainable. That's why we're in e-mobility. But when our interactions would be, of course, sensitization, any questions that come up. You find that since it's new technology, people will call, ask, this has shown up on my dashboard, what might be the issue, different signs that maybe you're not used to with a petrol car, and maybe your friend might not know the answer. So we still have those interactions with people. And then, charging infrastructure, charging solutions, maybe if they're stuck on the road, we can support on such matters. Yeah.
Okay. So I know when it comes to matters of policy, regulations, there are institutions that handle that. But if you're given an opportunity to maybe just review or act on a certain policy that you feel maybe for you people right now is a challenge or maybe a roadblock, what are some of the things that you would want to highlight or you'd want to address?
Yeah, so I would say this is the most important area of discussion when it comes to adoption of e-mobility because of the upfront cost that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
When the duty becomes so high or the import taxes are too high, it makes it unaffordable for a Kenyan who might want to buy or is considering their first car, cannot even consider an electric vehicle due to the cost. So just having more rebates. I mean, right now we've gotten an incentive to reduce that to 10%. Some of the down from 25%, right? So there's that incentive that the government has given us, which we really do appreciate. But there needs to be more because we need to compete in terms of pricing in a price-sensitive market. And there's much more around infrastructure. If that can be more stabilized, I mean, KPLC has done quite a good initiative around the tariff of reducing the charging price. Electricity that they charge for swap stations, for charging stations, so that it's more affordable for the end user to be able to charge their car at a public place. Yeah, so there's beauty in that, and I really still pushing for more policy reformation around so that Kenyans can be able to afford the cars. Yeah.
Okay. Do you often get into these kind of roundtable discussions or conversations with the people who come up with these policies, some of the decision makers, so to speak? Are you doing that consistently, or do you only do it as a reflex? Maybe something has happened and then now you people go back and approach these organizations?
Yeah, so as I'm proud to be a part of E-Mobility Association of Kenya, and within that association, that's our main agenda, is not only to sensitize the Kenyan market, but also to create policies that support the growth of our sector. And we've seen the growth, over more than 100% growth in the last few years since 2023. So there's definitely policies that have been put in place that made it possible. What else can we do to make that possible? So we do have these conversations quite a lot.
Okay.
There's still misunderstanding around electric motorcycles and vehicles within the public sector. But we're still educating, still pushing, and we believe that we'll be on the same agenda one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if I gave you an opportunity to just mention maybe to the listeners and to the viewers, what are the things that people have, they're not clear with, or they have misconceptions about your vehicles, at Autopax? What do you think are some of the misconceptions that people might have about your vehicles? And maybe you have an opportunity to just give them some clarity when it comes to that.
Okay, first, the biggest comment I get around AIV2 is Kadudu, small car. Yeah, but we did that very deliberately. We see the need of such movement, right? It's very efficient. Well, why do you need a big car always? It's not necessary sometimes when it's all about commuting.
Yes.
Right? You're just one person 80% of the time. Just one person with your groceries in the back. Maybe your children are the one you're picking them. You have, capacity for that. So there's a beauty of moving around very efficiently, and a smaller kadudu means that less spending for you. So, for example, our car, 200 kilometers, you can get it with 500 Kenya shillings. That's 2 shillings per kilometer. Yeah, when you do those calculations within your daily or monthly spending, you'll understand why it should not be you should be very proud as a Kenyan. And as an economist, I can tell you, you'd be the most efficient person on the Kenyan roads. Yeah.
And by the way, let me tell you, for me sitting here, when I see that car on the road, the first thing that comes to my mind is the owner of this vehicle still has another vehicle.
Of course.
Like, they obviously bought this vehicle to meet a certain need.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
And they've thought about it and they were like, you know what? Efficiency, easy movement.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So
no,
actually...
That's the type of people I align with, right? You have for the men who want their Subaru on the weekends, they're more than welcome to do that. Let's balance it out during the week, and reduce the emissions that you cause during the weekend. But there's beauty around that kind of movement.
Yeah. And I like that you've mentioned that you're members of the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya. On the 5th of December, which is next month, we're going to be having the Electric Mobility Association of Kenya Open Day, we're opening it up to the public, and we really want to engage with the public. There's going to be panel discussions, there's going to be exhibitors, people are going to be showcasing their vehicles and the bicycles. We invite you to come in. It's going to be at the Kenya School of Government at Lower Kabete. Please feel free to walk into the Lower Kabete Kenya School of Government venue and location, where you'll be able to engage, interact, participate, ask questions, and even meet the experts within this sector. And Joy, I hope you're going to be there, because we really need a balance of women on the panels, at the demonstrations, and we'd really like to have your vehicles also showcased at the open day.
100%. I will be there. There's no doubt. I love to interact with people with questions, any misconceptions that they may have. That's the best place to come look for your answers around e-mobility and why we are doing what we are doing. And at the end of the day, it comes to sustainable livelihoods and beyond us, beyond the future generations. And I know we're also looking at ways in which we can now be more inclusive when it comes to gender balance, women and youth, also within this space. So it would be nice to have a woman already in the space who is now just paving the way, and also just letting us know that the industry has a lot of opportunity. There is a lot that we can learn from it and also engage and participate. Joy, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Having you here. I mean, this has been a whole masterclass.
Thank you for your time.
And I really appreciate that you are very passionate about this space. You're not just doing it because this is a job that drives you. You're doing it and you really have a lot of information, even when it comes to other players or other areas of the EV space. So thank you so much for being with us in studio.
Thank you.
We look forward to having more engagement and more conversations with you after this one.
Thank you. And Autopax's tagline is mobility for life. And we truly mean that from the deepest point of our hearts. We do it for the people of Kenya, for the people of Africa, to make a change in how they move around from point A to point B.
And I saw somewhere where someone said silent is the new powerful. Like these vehicles just move with such grace on the roads. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Thank you, our viewers. We look forward to getting your feedback, and if you have any concerns, please feel free to share them with us. We are grateful. Asante sana for your viewership.